Ooh. Hello! Hi, beautiful people. Hello. Welcome to the very first Pro Nerd Sports Tuesday podcast. These will be happening hopefully every week going forward. But today is a very special day because I know a lot of you know about my history with the NFL and how much I love the NFL, but a very close second to that is international soccer. That was one of the first things I was really obsessed with. So I love watching the World Cup. I love watching the Euro. And I love watching the Women's World Cup, especially because of how dominant the United States women's national team is on a global scale. Because nothing really comes close to it at all as far as soccer goes, especially in the United States. So today we are going to be predicting what our ladies will be doing in the World Cup. Very excited. I believe the games kick off Thursday. It's hosted in Australia and New Zealand. And I am super excited, even though I probably won't get to watch most of it. But that's okay, because we're going to have a good time anyways. We're using... sorry, I did not prepare enough for this, so I don't have any fancy visuals for you today, unfortunately. But I do have FIFA23.com's Women's World Cup predictor, and that's what we are going to be using to predict the future, to let you guys know who's going to win the Women's World Cup, specifically in each group. So it doesn't label them here, but we are going to start off with Group A right here. We have New Zealand, Norway, Philippines, and Switzerland. Now, I don't know if a lot of you know this, but this is a very different game than the men's game. Not only in a technical, tactical sense, but also in the sense that many different teams are going to be appearing in the Women's World Cup, and a lot of these teams will never have a shot at the Men's World Cup. One of these teams in specific, the Philippines in Group A. Now, the World Cup, the Men's World Cup, is expanding in 2026. We're going to have 48 teams in this World Cup. So the Philippines, maybe down the line, they'll have a shot. Wouldn't be surprised eventually if the Philippines do qualify for a Men's World Cup. But in 2023, the Philippines will make their first World Cup debut. Their women's will make their first World Cup debut. Unfortunately for them, I think they are going to get demolished, okay? It's not going to be close. I'm sorry, Philippines. I'm sorry. Congratulations on making it this far. But honestly, I don't think the Philippines, being their first tournament and being, the Philippines when it comes to international soccer, they aren't usually, they're not a dominant force. But who is a dominant force? Who's going to win this group? It's going to be Norway. New Zealand is hosting the tournament along with Australia, so they're co-hosting. But Norway, out of these four teams, Norway is the only one that has ever won a World Cup. And quite frankly, all of these teams aren't that good compared to many other teams in this tournament. New Zealand got the top spot in the group because of them being the co-hosts, but New Zealand really isn't that good. Norway used to be a lot better than they are, but they really haven't been performing. They underperformed in the Euros, didn't make it out of the group stage, lost to Austria, who didn't qualify. I think Switzerland did even worse, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember what they did, but I don't think they made it out of the group either. I think they actually finished last in the group. So, because of that, I'm sorry, the Philippines aren't going to make it. I'm going to give it the edge to New Zealand. Oh, yeah. I'm going to give the edge to New Zealand because, just because they're the host. That's the only reason. I think they're pretty evenly matched when it comes to Switzerland. But I think Norway's the most dominant team in this group. So we'll move on to, I believe this is Group B. They don't label them. But Group B, we have, this is Group B. Australia, the other hosts. The Republic of Ireland, their very first Women's World Cup appearance. Nigeria and Canada. Now, Australia are the hosts. They are a top 10 team. I have the FIFA rankings right next to me here. The Australians are ranked 10th in the world. Canada, however, did beat the United States in the Olympics lost to Sweden in the final. And they are ranked 7th in the world. Look, and a lot of people, including myself, will count out Nigeria. Nigeria is hands down the best African team there is. And, they always seem, they're never supposed to win any games, but they usually do. But in this case, I think I'll have them at a 3rd place finish. I think they'll beat Ireland, but that won't get them out of the group because I just think Australia and Canada are some of the best teams in the world. So we'll move on to Group C right here. We got Spain, Costa Rica, Japan, and Zambia. Zambia, this is their first ever Women's World Cup. Kudos to them for qualifying. Again, not a team that anyone thought would be in this tournament. They did qualify for the Olympics. They did tie China too. They got 3rd in that division, only got 1 point out of it, drawing against China. And if you don't know how this works, usually it's like 1 win is 3 points and a draw is 1 point. You lose, you don't get any points in the group stage. So starting off with, we're going to put Spain. Japan, they beat the United States in 2011, the 2011 FIFA Women's World Cup. But ever since then, they have significantly fallen off. They made it back to the final in a rematch in 2015 against the United States, but they got demolished in that one. 5-2 final score there. The last World Cup, they did make it out of the group stage, but I don't think they went much farther after that. But compared to Costa Rica and Zambia, I think Japan gets the edge there. Spain, on the other hand, has been trending upward. They have been trending upward, okay? Spain has improved significantly from their first World Cup appearance, I believe in 2015. They had a solid Euro run. They did lose to England in the quarterfinals, who eventually won the entire thing. So it's not so surprising. I think Spain will win that group, Japan 2nd. We'll move on now. Come over to England, Haiti, Denmark, and China. And, kudos again for the Haitian women for making the World Cup. The men's have been to one in 1974, I want to say, was the first and only time we've seen Haiti in a World Cup. The men's team has since fallen off, but kudos to their women for making it this far, but I don't think they're going to get any points. I'll be shocked if they get any points in this group. This is the first 32-team FIFA Women's World Cup, might I add. So, there's way more teams in this tournament, and with that, there's a lot more less quality teams, I guess you could say. Haiti being one of those, but kudos for them for qualifying. I'm glad they get a chance, okay? But they're not going to win. England is the clear winner of this group. I'll be shocked if it's anyone other than England. Originally, when I was looking at this earlier, I was going to say China would become 2nd in this group, because China has also been a dominant force in women's soccer. They've been to a few finals. They've never won it, but they're usually pretty good, and they usually get out of the group. But you have to remember, all of Women's World Cups, there would be a 3rd place team in the knockout stages, and this time we don't have that. And China had a terrible, it was so bad. Their Olympics run was awful. They had they came last under Zambia and had a negative 11 goal differential. That means they had 11 goals in 3 games. They had 11 more goals scored on them than they have scored in 3 games. And that was against Brazil and the Netherlands, who are good, but they are not the United States, Germany, England, those kind of teams. So I'm going to give the edge to Denmark because, look, Europe, just like they do in the men's, they dominate generally, except for the best team in the world. Besides that, they do tend to dominate in women's soccer. So I'm going to give the edge to Denmark here. I think it's a fun little one. Denmark hasn't qualified for the Women's World Cup in like a decade, so I'm glad that they're back in it. I'll say they get through to the knockouts. Moving on to Group E. All right, this is it. USA versus Vietnam. I believe kicks off Friday, I want to say. I could be completely wrong with there. But, yeah, I am excited. But if any of you watched the Women's World Cup in 2019, the United States national team beat Thailand, who is kind of on the same level as Vietnam, 13-0. Now, Vietnam is ranked significantly higher than Thailand. Now they're like 32nd, I believe. Yeah, Vietnam's ranked 32nd. United States ranked first. United States destroy Vietnam. Moving on to the Netherlands. Netherlands have always given the United States some trouble. We did beat them in the last World Cup final, 2-0. Congratulations to the Netherlands for making it that far. In the Olympics, we beat them in penalties, so we drew them. I feel like this game will probably be a tie. And Portugal, another team, first appearance in the Women's World Cup, I believe. They're all right, but they're not a significant force in the Women's World. This group is going to be easy. The United States will win. I wouldn't be shocked if the Netherlands win, but the United States are going to win. Netherlands come second. Moving on. Now, this is a very entertaining group. Actually, in the men's tournament, this wouldn't even be possible because you can't have two teams from the same region of the world, unless it's Europe, compete in the World Cup or in the same group as the World Cup. So Jamaica and Panama, that would never happen. Is that? Okay, I think that's flags, right? I don't know. All right, whatever. All right, France. France is also a top 5 team in the world. I believe, yeah, they're 5th. I'm going to give them the edge to France. They've been very good for years now. I say they win the group. Brazil coming second. Jamaica and Panama, congratulations on getting there. Jamaica's second appearance, Panama's first. Neither of those teams are even close to the same level as France and Brazil. So those teams are definitely the teams that are going to make it out of that group. It's just a matter of what order they come in. Now we move on to what group are we on? We're on Group G, I believe. Sweden, South Africa, Italy, and Argentina. Now, Sweden is the clear best team in this group. Sweden is ranked 3rd in the world, and rightfully so. They beat the United States in the Olympics. They won the Olympic gold medal after winning a penalty shootout against Canada. Sweden, they always seem to do somewhat well in the World Cup. They did their Euro journey got cut off. They lost 4-0 to England in the semifinal. But compared to the rest of this team in this group, the teams in this group, Italy, Sweden, or South Africa, Italy, and Argentina, I say they blow all of them out of the water. I don't think it's going to be close to any of these games. Now, next, moving on, I think it's going to be either between Italy and Argentina. Argentina seems to be kind of one of those surprise teams, but I'm going to give the edge to Italy just because in the last World Cup, Italy performed. They were great. They were great in the last World Cup. However, in the Euros, they were not that great. They got last in their group, I believe. They're playing Iceland and Belgium, who aren't that good of teams. But you know what? They make it through to the knockout stages in the Women's World Cup. Now, all right, Germany, Morocco, Colombia, and South Korea. Morocco being the first Arab team to qualify for a Women's World Cup. Go them. They aren't making it out of the group. Sorry. Colombia is always a sneaky team. South Korea seems like they are always a team that disappoints. But Germany is the clear favorite. Because of its proximity to South Korea, I'll give South Korea the edge there and say that they come second. So these are the teams moving on to the knockout stages of the Women's World Cup. If you want to take a picture, you can, because this is what's going to happen. Hi, Faison. How's it going? Thanks for watching. I love you. We're predicting the Women's World Cup. So if you ever need to know who's going to win the Women's World Cup, you've come to the right place, because I'm about to reveal all the secrets. So moving on to the round of 16. Very exciting. Some competitive games in this round of 16 too. That's exactly how it's going to play out. Norway and Japan, those teams are pretty close. They're pretty much on the same level, I would say. So, but I'm going to give it to Japan. Look, like I said earlier, Norway, they're in their group. They're the best team in their group. But as far as how they performed in the Euros, I think Japan kind of edges them out. I think Japan has fallen off a little bit, but I'm going to give this one to Japan, especially because Japan is really close to Australia and New Zealand. So this will be an easy game. Spain and New Zealand. Like I said, Spain is going up, but New Zealand are the hosts. Despite that, I think Spain is going to win. I think Spain is a significantly better team than New Zealand. New Zealand always seems to get last in their group, but they're always there because who else is it going to be playing in the Pacific? Papua New Guinea's team is actually pretty good. So look out for Papua New Guinea. But Spain beating New Zealand. Moving on to the USA Italy. You already heard me talk about Italy and the Euros. I think the US handles that. Maybe like a 3-0, 2-0 game. Italy wins that. But moving on to the Sweden and the Netherlands. This is a great game, and this might be probably like the second best game in the round of 16. I think it could really go either way because both of these teams are great teams. The Netherlands went to the final last time. I believe they beat Sweden to get to the final. But unfortunately, I'm going to go with Sweden. I think they're going to get their revenge from the last World Cup. And I think Sweden's going to move on. Now, Australia and Denmark. Denmark, this is their first World Cup in the while. They're taking on the host. I think Australia wins that. Australia is the top 10 team. They have the home field advantage. They should beat Denmark. So I got Australia moving on. Now, England and Canada, this is the best game in the round of 16. If this happens, this is the best game in the round of 16. Because England is arguably, I think they're second, right? Germany's ranked second. England's ranked fourth. I think England might be the second best team in the world. So I'm going to give the edge to England. I wouldn't be surprised if Canada won because Canada did have an amazing Olympic run with beating the United States. They did end up losing to the United States a few months later in the Gold Cup. But nonetheless, moving on, France and South Korea. I think France handles business there. Like, I love South Korea. They're always like a fringe knockout stage team. I think France gets the business done. They're a top 5 team for sure. Germany and Brazil, this is another great matchup. We all know what happened in 2014 with the men's. I have to bring it up. Sorry, Brazil fans, but don't worry. That's not going to happen this time, but Germany's still going to win. I think Brazil, they're good. They're very good, but I don't see them very often beating big teams in Europe and the United States. So, giving the edge to Germany there. So, these are the teams moving on to the quarterfinals, the one highlighted in gold. Moving on to the quarterfinals, we have Japan versus the United States. Like I said, Japan, they have fallen off a little bit. They had somewhat of an easy schedule getting to this point, but the United States are going to win that one. Easily, the United States win that one. Moving on to Spain and Sweden. Now, I don't know, okay? Both of these teams are extremely good. However, Sweden's probably going to be the favorite for this game. I'm picking Spain, because Spain was much more impressive against England in the Euros than Sweden was. So I say Spain edges out Sweden, maybe in penalties, maybe in extra time. Spain gets the W right there. Now, Australia and France. Another great game. France top 5 team, Australia top 10 team. I'm going Australia. I'm going with the host, okay? I think Sam Kerr is her name. I hope she's still playing because she was really good. Sam Kerr carries Australia to, I don't know if it's their first semifinals, but Australia beats France and heads to their very first it's not their very first semifinal. They're going to the semifinal. The hosts are going to the semifinal. Now, England and Germany, maybe the biggest rivalry. I think there's a bigger rivalry coming soon, but England and Germany in a World Cup match, that game is going to be insane. That game is going to be heated. There will be fights probably, even in the women's sport. England and Germany. I'm going with England. I think England gets the edge there. I feel like every time I watch an England versus Germany game, women's that is, England gets the win. Germany's always ranked higher, but I think England always wins. So I'm going to go with England there. They're going to defeat Germany in the quarterfinals, and these 4 teams are your semifinal teams that are highlighted in gold. Spain, this is their first semifinal. Not sure about Australia, but this is where the road ends for Spain. Sorry, but you're playing the United States of America, okay? Look, congratulations on making it this far, but these women know what they're doing. They've been in this situation for the past 8 years. So, sorry. 12. Longer than that. The United States have never not made the semifinal of a Women's World Cup. I think the worst they've performed in a Women's World Cup is 3rd place. So, do what you want with that information. But, again, this is one of the most dominant forces in soccer, okay? One of the most dominant forces in sports in general. If you don't follow women's soccer, and I'm sure a lot of people don't, the United States is very good. This is like our best sport. Except for basketball probably, and football, but no one else plays football. Australia and England. Very fun game. I think it's going to be great. I think England's going to win it. Luck has run out for the hosts. Okay, not luck. They're very skilled team. England, I just think it's better. You know, Premier League, all this jazz. England, they also carry momentum from the Euro. So that means that we have a USA and England final. But before we get into that, we have a third place playoff between Spain and Australia. Both teams that aren't in this position very often. Give me the host, okay? I say Australia takes third in the World Cup, beating Spain. Sam Kerr gets the third place title. Australian fans are happy. They probably didn't think they were going to win it. Maybe they did, but third place, great finish for a team that's ranked 10th in the world. Now, the battle we've all been waiting for. The battle to determine if it's called soccer or football. You know, look, the United States have won it 2 times in a row. They've been to 3 finals in a row. I think it's time that we give it to somebody else. Nope. The United States are going to win for the 3rd time in a row. It's never happened. Never happened in the Women's World Cup. Never happened in the Men's World Cup. It's going to happen. The United States are undefeated in 2023 thus far. It's going to happen. The United States will win the Women's World Cup again in Australia and New Zealand in 2023 for the 3rd time in a row. Megan Rapinoe will retire with 3 championships under her belt, and we'll finally, once and for all, get to stick it in the mud that this sport is called soccer. Thank you to everybody that watched this very short 20-minute stream. But this is just I'm just getting comfortable right now with the idea of a Tuesday podcast. My next showing will be on Sunday. Don't know what time yet. Hopefully 3 o'clock, but we don't know because I will be getting back from a camping trip. So it might be 8 o'clock again. I'll, of course, keep everybody updated on that. But we will be predicting at the very least the NFC East. Moving on to the NFC of the NFL, going to be a very interesting one. There's a lot of good teams in that division, a lot of heated fan bases, and unfortunately for myself, I know a lot of fans for all those teams except for the Commanders. But so I'm not going to be able to please everybody. I'm just saying that in advance. But thank you to everyone who watched the stream today. I appreciate it so much. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. That'll help me out so much. And with that.